Why are there so many posts that say white only teachers, Caucasian only? I have a math.
We all know that passport bros and passport sis is really stemmed from dating. But passport sis is not just about black females going overseas to date. It's also about them going there for new experiences and new jobs, or as students, or just in general wanting to travel. And we're going to look at the dark side about that.
Why are there so many posts that say white only teachers, Caucasian only? I have a master's degree in teaching, yet you're not looking at my ability. You're just looking at my skin color and saying yes or no. And I even had a recruiter, and he's like, oh yeah, these schools don't want black teachers. They only want white teachers.
So why do you think Koreans have this kind of preference?
I think the preference comes because of TV and film. And honestly, a lot of them watch a lot of Western media. Do you carry a gun when you're in the US? I'm like, no, why would I carry a gun around? Well, I saw in the movies, black people. And I'm like, oh, I was like, you can't believe what you see on TV. Just like if someone's coming to Korea, you're going to tell them, don't believe what you saw in the K-drama. And you're not going to walk the street and a Korean guy, is there walking. You drop your bag, he picks it up, and next thing you know, y'all are getting married. No, that's not real life. There's kind people and there are crazy people in every race. And there are kind people and racist people in every race. So you just have to get to know the person first.
Being English teacher is actually not that hard. I mean, the kids are the problem. The kids are what's causing a lot of teachers' distress and depression. But outside of the kids itself, the role, like what you have to do, well, depending on what school you work for, is anyone can do it. We both work in a private school. Private school means privileged kids. Privileged kids equal entitled parents. And those parents are the most awful people to deal with. They think that they own you and that their child can never do any wrong and their child is perfect. And unfortunately, with that kind of mindset, there's limited amount of things that we can do when it comes to improving a child fully. So that's one thing I would say.
Choose another job in Korea. What job could that be? Not English teaching.
Especially for foreigners, there's a lot of pressure already. The work environment in Korea is cutthroat. And as a foreigner, it's just 10 times more difficult. So to be honest, I don't think I would want another role.
What does that mean? What does unga mean? Your mama.
But after teaching in Korea, I started wondering how these discriminatory thoughts build up in kids' minds. And if you're taught here in Korea, you know that sometimes the kids will say really fucked up things about even just other Asian countries, and nobody will tell them it's wrong. And Korea in general does not do a good job of teaching how to talk about or deal with other POC here. So this is my Korean American student in Guam. I was tutoring her, and here's the thing, even though they're living in America, my kids are only associating with other Korean people. Their parents speak Korean at home. They speak Korean in school with their Korean friends. So they're not really using English or mixing with other locals, which is why I'm there. The only reason they hire me is because I'm passable because they can speak to me in Korean and because my partner's Korean. I'll just say their parents only want them, by the way, hanging out with people that look assertive.
Was it hard for you to get a job in Korea?
My first job, yes, because my recruiter told me they don't want black people in Seoul. So the first one, yes. And he got me a job in Incheon because he would refuse to put me in Seoul. But after that, it was okay.
How did you get a job in Korea?
I went through a recruiter and he was trash. So then after that, I had to find my own job by myself through websites. You upload your resume and then they contact you that way. Or you can be in group chats and people will kind of let you know what's open and things like that. So I went through 3 different ways.
Is your salary okay for you to live your life in Korea?
Yeah, it's enough to live, but I feel like we should get paid more still because I feel like we put up with a lot.
There's no labor rights, period. You go to Korea, right, and you're thinking maybe there's going to be at least some protection, some laws. There is no laws. I should have known better when I was hearing all about the and how nothing really gets stalking momoka cases. Nothing gets done with mocha. I never seen so many spy cameras in my entire life. Every time I went into a bathroom in Korea, there was always going to be a camera in the toilet or in the walls or in the toilet paper. It was always somewhere. And so I feel like that should have been my red flag, that I was not going to get any sort of labor protections as a foreign worker. But you know what? I was like, let me have the benefit of the doubt. That was my first mistake, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, if you're going through any issue, it is so hard to get any sort of resolution for it. Obviously, there are some like boards dedicated to labor rights called, for example, MOEL. That's the Ministry of Education and Labor. The amount of times I called them while I was in Korea and I would talk about my issues. I was like, I'm getting beat up by these students. My director is not doing anything. Like, there's a COVID outbreak at our school and we're still being expected to come. Like, I would constantly be calling them and they're like, we only deal with 3 things: unpaid wages, insurance, and benefits, or unemployment. And it's like, so you mean to tell me that if I have an issue outside of that, you can't resolve it? So that was like that was like a eye-opening moment for me.
Didn't I already have a video where I literally explicitly said why you should not teach in Korea? I honestly did not even plan to do another video about teaching Korea, but I actually got a message from my previous employer, so the first director, who was like, I just want to let you know that we're gonna sue you. We saw the video. And if there's any proof of defamation, if there's any proof that shows that you are ruining the business, we will take you to court and we will report you to immigration. And it's like, girl, I don't care.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you
We don't care.
I did not do anything illegal. I'm very, very proud that the video that I did create encouraged people to just do their due diligence and really figure out if teaching there is something that they really want to do. If you don't need to do it, don't do it.
Don't go to South Korea to become a teacher before watching this video. I'm friends with a bunch of ex-English teachers and the stories they tell me are absolutely crazy. It was a friend of a friend that this happened to. She was having the worst time. She was working at a school where the head teacher was constantly telling her that she wasn't doing a good job, like, we don't know why we're keeping you, like, blah, 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 like every single day, to the point where she was so burnt out that she couldn't continue on. But she wanted to stay living in Korea, so she started looking for other jobs. Like, you know, if your current job is telling you you're not doing a good job, like, what's the point of staying, right? Found the most amazing school down the road from her apartment, and she had an interview and she got the job. So then she went to her original employer, her original school, and was like, hey, I found a different employer. I'm gonna give you my, like, notice. However, if you've not completed your contract, you are literally at the mercy of your employer. You can't just quit. You actually need something called a letter of release. The person who's running the school, I guess, felt slighted and betrayed that she would dare to want to leave, even though they were the ones bullying her. So they were like, no, you can't leave. And this is something very legal for them to do. So my advice,
what it's looking like is a lot of black females are having trouble when it comes to their labor rights and the treatment that they're having with their students in Korea. But not only that.
Sometimes when people see like a black person, they're like, oh, gangster, hey yo, what's up? But it's not like that, as you can see. I'm just a very normal.
무조건 랩할 줄 알았거든요, 그렇죠?
Hey. Not every. Okay, I rap. That's true. But not every black person has to rap.
Besties, these are some things that people aren't sharing with you about South Korea. I know you probably have watched a lot of videos. You've seen a lot of my videos. I make videos about Korea and stuff like that. Listen, when I first went to Korea, nobody was making videos like they are now. So y'all spoiled. Y'all so spoiled in a good way, because I wish I had the same kind of information that y'all have now. But there are a few things I've been seeing, trends and stuff like that about Korea, but no one talks about these things. Now, you know I love you guys and I'm always going to be real with you. So here's the truth, okay? There are a few things that happen in South Korea that nobody talks about because how do I say, when you go somewhere and the response or the experience is like 90% positive, that 10% you start to lose it over time, the negative, right? But the negative is something that can linger and stick with you for a long time, and that's why I think it's important to bring them up. First, if you are thick, if you are black or of color, you will get judged silently. It's what happens. People might not say things, they will be polite to you, but they are judging you, especially if you are plus size. People will, and you'll catch people looking at you, but a lot of times it's done secretly, and you might catch someone make a little like glance at you or something, but you won't hear them talk about you and stuff. I heard it all. I've seen it all. People have called me fat. They've called me like gross. They've called me like super black. They've called me all this stuff in Korean and in English. And so I had one student, he wasn't my student, but a student walking by just yelled out the word, I don't know if I can say this on TikTok. It's an animal that eats bananas. Yelled that out as loud as he could towards my direction to me. And like you will experience that stuff. It happens.
Have you experienced any racism in Korea?
Yes, but honestly, what's kind of like sad is that I've gone to many countries. Yeah. Almost every country does it. And so it's never been really bad, but I have had it. So yeah.
Can you tell me any experience?
Yeah, I think that sometimes it's not just because I'm black, but I think also they think like, oh, maybe they don't speak Korean or something, so they say like, oh, like no foreigners or whatever, and like they don't want me to come in. And I think maybe because sometimes it's like a language barrier.
Black girl, I've kind of had like both experience, bad and good. At that times you bump into Koreans who are really, really nice, but there are others you meet who are not too nice. Like sometimes you have an experience on the subway and you being black, you sit on a particular seat, being Korean like doesn't want to sit by you. Personally, I don't care. But I think some of my black friends have that kind of bad experience, and then it makes them like shy away. Some really want to get out of Korea after school. Koreans kind of racism is not like you're strange, but probably it's because they hardly see black people. So I think it takes a while. Those who have traveled abroad react differently, but the native Korean, I'm just thinking, probably has not seen a black girl before, so the experience is kind of different. Yeah, it's not too pleasant. But then personally, I don't care what people think, so yeah.
Period.
Yeah. The racism that a lot of black females face is really like the icing on the cake. It will never go anywhere. It's always going to be a general experience that they're going to face, which is why not a lot of them really talk about it. Not enough to make noise about it, as they're very keen on traveling and having an adventure. But the ones that do talk about it want to actually spread awareness to what's happening. And that's what I'm doing.
Because people value Korean men so much, because people place them as such a prize, and because they intrinsically believe that black women are inferior, it is very hard for them to accept. It is very hard for them to digest that a black woman could bag a Korean guy. Whether this hate is coming from white people or is coming from our own black counterparts, if people naturally believe that black women have disadvantages when it comes to being seen as beautiful, because they believe that we have disadvantages of being accepted or being seen as universal beauties, because they have hard times digesting this, it's really hard for people to pair Korean men who they value so much and black women who they value so little. The juxtaposition of a black woman and a Korean man is just really hard for people to digest. So they're going to speculate, they're going to be surprised, they're going to be shocked. Oh my God, you were the Korean guy? How did you get one of these prizes? How did you get an oppa, right? No one's a stranger to this. There's always been a history of white women coming here, or even white men coming here, knowing that Koreans view them as some sort of prize. No one is coming for black men who are with Korean women. No one is scrutinizing them under the same microscope, right? Because black men are nowhere near as disrespected as black women.
Dating experience been in Korea?
Not great, I'll be honest. Most guys either want to talk to a black girl, and this is just my experience, either because they think I'm very hip and they're like, oh my God, I love your tooth jams, you must be into rap or something, and like he's over there like having some sort of locks on his hair, even though he's Korean. They just want to try you because you're black, like you're a black girl, so it's like very new. and you're different, and it's like, oh, who's this exotic girl? I mean, I've been told that many times, like, you're very exotic, can I talk to you? And I'm there like, what? Like, that's the only compliment I had. And another one I've had was when he said to me is, you're so pretty for a black girl. Like, you're the prettiest black girl I've ever seen. And I'm there like, do you think that's a compliment? Dating here is quite interesting.
So overall, we've taken a look at the work side of things, the racism, and the dating. And I want to talk about the labor rights firstly, and how a lot of black females, not only from these European countries, but also America, they do travel to these Asian countries to not only just date and travel, but to work as well. And that's where really passport bros or passport anything existed, is people going to foreign countries and going there for economic reasons and experience when it comes to work, or if you're a student, etc, etc. And it wasn't just black people doing it, it was also white people doing it. But the difference is white people, they have a privilege wherever they go. So a lot of these experiences, it doesn't really come to them, and they don't really experience it the same way black people do, or black females do. And in this case, black females are right in the thick of it. They are finding out that a lot of these countries and their treatment towards black people and black females is heavily coated in racism, especially when it comes to their labor rights. They're starting to find out that the way they operate and their culture, it's already corrupt as it is, but when it comes to you as a black female, they don't care, and they are going to take the time to actually protect you because you're in their country. And how they see it is, whatever resources they do have is for their own people, and they're not gonna use it on black foreigners who are here just to take. And another interesting thing as well is their contracts. And if you don't finish their contracts, you don't actually have the right to leave that job. And what gets me is all these black females, they took the time to get their passports, they took the time to pack their bags, get the jobs, but never took the time to actually do critical research and going into these foreign countries, took any research on what the racism is like. And another thing that also stood out to me when it comes to the racism and what they face is they all have an excuse for it. The excuse is they've never been around black people before, or they've seen only black people in the movies, or they think black people only rap. No, that is not what it is. They don't like you, they don't respect you or your culture. And I don't care where you're from. They don't respect nothing that you do as a black person. So why am I hearing so many excuses for them? It's quite clear how they see you and how their kids see you. Those children saw you like doo-doo. I mean, if that is not clear enough that they do not like you as a black individual and as a black person and everything that comes with your blackness, then I don't know what's more clear. It seems like black females always want to make up excuses to travel to these foreign countries that clearly hate you. And I mean, it's not shocking anymore because I can see why we're here. The state of the black community and the state of black females is quite clear. And this is why they don't want to talk about it enough. They still want to go to these countries, operate in these countries, work in these countries for whatever reason, mind you. And they rather just look past everything that's happening just so they can be there. And whatever entitlement that they have that resides in them is what pushes them further to go to these countries. I'm your hostess, Remnant Princess. These are my last thoughts. I know I talk about entitlement a lot, but I do think it's something that a lot of black females do not like to take accountability for. I think it's a huge issue that we as a community are dealing with when it comes to black females, is their entitlement. And they take that everywhere, so much that you do not do the research enough to actually find out about these countries. And when we're talking about these passport sis in 2024, just know that it is really an option. It's not like they need to go. It's not like they must go. They need to provide for their family. It's all just a choice that they've made themselves to go to these countries. And yet you have these entitlement to how you are supposed to be treated and the rights and their system and how they operate. when you can't even do that for your own community or for even yourself in your own country? But let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.